this going here. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started today. So, welcome to our webinar. We appreciate you all for taking the time to join us today. But before we proceed, I want to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started. Everybody will be muted upon entry. If at any point you have any questions throughout the presentation, please add them to the Q&A section of this Teams webinar. I'll personally be watching out for that, and we'll answer and address all questions at the end of the presentation. So we encourage all questions. In today's agenda, we're going to take a look at SPS Commerce, a leading solution provider in the retail automation space for a wide variety of markets. Our 4 key points that we're going to take a look at today starts with our headline, Chain Evolution, Transform Your Retail Operations with Automation. We'll explore that ambitious goal and how our partners like Crestwood and SPS Commerce can help achieve that with our trading partner expertise, our design and configuration possibilities, some proactive monitoring, and ongoing support. But first, let's start with some warm welcomes. My name is Nicholas Cabrera. I'm one of Crestwood's customer success managers working strategically with the Dynamics-based business accounts across a wide variety of markets. I've been in this space for about a decade with an emphasis on ERP deployment for large-scale manufacturers. However, I have worked in operations, research and development, food quality, safety and assurance, warehousing, and procurement. Crestwood as a whole has been a leading ERP partner for both Acumatica and Microsoft Dynamics with clients across the United States. Today, we've partnered up with SPS Commerce to bring you this fantastic webinar. Crestwood has been working with SPS Commerce as partners to bring retail automation and EDI value for solutions-oriented solutions with our clients for about a decade now. But before I hand over the reins to Mo, I'd like to share some insight on the value of SPS. They have a solutions mindset that's really geared toward finding the best EDI and business accelerants via automation for an array of different industries. They have proven themselves time and time and again to be a reliable partner. Would you agree with that, Mo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. I'm going to pass this over to you, boss. I appreciate the time today. I'm going to be, like I mentioned, actively monitoring this Q&A section, and I'd like to go ahead and just get this kicked right off.
Thank you, Nick. Really appreciate it. Let me share my screen here. And making sure you're able to see my screen.
Perfect.
All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Really appreciate the time and the opportunity today to connect and give you a little background about SPS, EDI in general, supply chain evolution, really, and how we can, both SPS and Crestwood, help you throughout your journey to transform your retail operation with automation. So with that, starting with, my name is Mo Demirci. I manage and lead the Acumatica practice here at SPS. I've been embedded in the ecosystem for a little over 4 years now, working with variety of customers in different verticals and different phases or stages, if you will, of their journey. Had the pleasure working with the Crestwood team on plethora of projects and customer base throughout that journey. SPS, we're a publicly traded company based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where I'm at today with beautiful weather, 20 below zero wind chill. So cannot complain, but we got some sunshine. We have a little over 3,000 employees. Majority of us are based in HQ with global presence offices in North America and China, Hong Kong, Australia, and in Europe. We work across industries and we help really transforming collaboration and data exchanges. If you look at who would typically pick up the phone and call SPS or call Crestwood asking for help, typically where we see are fallen in one of three different categories. A buying organization, think of the Target, the Costco of the world, or a manufacturer, and a supplier, someone who actually make these goods and sell it to these buying organization. And logistic companies, those are essentially the companies that transform or move these goods from one to the other, or simply deliver to your house, my house, and next house. If we look at each one, if we drill down deeper onto each one of these customer type, the type of business problem that we solve for and help them address really through automation and integration with their system of record or ERP. Starting with these buying organization really is item data management, EDI support, vendor scorecarding, and really onboarding their vendor community. On the supplier and manufacturer, so it's the flip side of that data exchange. Same thing, we help with EDI, item data management, deduction and compliance support, which is something that we're seeing more and more in the marketplace that we will be addressing later on today on the webinar. Global e-invoicing, and it's coming as well to North America. We're seeing a lot of traction happening on that front as well. And same thing that goes with those carriers or third-party logistics. So if we take a step back and focus on you today, we truly understand your world is complex. And what we mean by that, especially that pivotal moment that really brought everything to the front line around the pandemic in 2020, where things start shifting and the omni-channel being thrown out. That is a very loosely defined term, but I believe we all can attest to the challenges, the pain that we've been seeing, and how many businesses that either went under or the businesses that really start thriving. And the one that thriving are the one that had the foundation, that they had the automation in place, that were able to pivot and adapt on the fly. So looking at you right in the middle of all that, where you have to manage your raw material, your finished good if you're a distributor, getting all that information from your suppliers or vendors to you, or to your co-packers, to your third-party logistics that house that, and then listing that on marketplace, e-com, receiving these orders from these large retailers and getting all that through. But exchanging the data is really the foundation, and that's where everything starts, is from getting that item data, their attributes, their weight and dimensions, getting that listed, exchanging that from your vendor to your buyers, and making sure all that is flowing and you have a good understanding and grasp on everything. Then receiving that very first precious orders and making sure your team have accepted that and ready to pick, pack, and ship, tracking it, updating, decrementing inventory, updating inventory if you're selling on their website or marketplaces. And then, of course, invoicing and making sure that you're getting paid as these shipments are leaving your facility or warehouse. And then finally, sell-through data, where you see how your products are performing at the register level or point of sale in different sales channels. So really, if we look at each one of these sales channels or each one of these touch points, there are really unique requirements in terms of fulfillment, different business processes. The data and the format, the way they like that to exchange, whether it's API or VAN or AS2 or sometimes even emails, believe it or not, we still hear, suppliers that saying we still receive emails from our customers with orders. Um, Testing that and the timing for delivery and all that. So really create all these friction points, or if you will, all these fail points that you need to address. But it doesn't really stop there. We manage over 9,000 changes on behalf of our customers last year, from new ship to locations, different data expectation, or ship to contacts, label details, packing structures, new process, new testing scenarios. So what is they expect you to do? You've made the investment to move to a cloud-based ERP, Dynamic or Acumatica, to make it really tailored. And the Crestwood team, I can attest to, they do an amazing job in making sure your system addresses your unique business requirements. And what we've seen is through these relationship with your customers or your buyers, they expect you and your system to customize it to their business need, which is really not that what we are here to talk about. They expect you to hold and return data that it really doesn't make sense for your business. It's very unique data to EDI world. They expect you to manage their changes in your system, multiple communication, um, and and so on. So it really, what happens is if we take a look here, your business, your ERP on the right side, and all the different sales channel you have on the left side, each of them have different set of EDI requirement. Each one of them have a different communication method, protocols, and test scenarios. When they make a changes, we really don't know where that change is happening. Dropship, the address is missing. Nick didn't put the zip code. Sorry, Nick, I'm picking on you here. Nick didn't put the zip code in his address, and you receive that order trying to fulfill it, and there is one simple thing missing. Slow onboarding. Your sales team is out there getting all these relationships established, and you're excited. You just signed Kroger as one of your customers. Time to get them plugged into your system. Missed requirement. They said we need order acknowledgement within 48 hours of you receiving the order, and we didn't account for that. Late shipments. Nobody want these late shipments or chargebacks from these big retailers. But it doesn't, the complexity really doesn't stop there. We were just talking about your customer and your vendor side, but let's talk about you as your business is growing. You are onboarding and new customers. You're adding headcounts. You're training new people. Manually managing all these changes. New channel, you start selling on your own website, or you added Amazon, or believe it or not, we're hearing a lot about TikTok marketplace. It's a thing. These are all different requirements. Or simply you're migrating from a legacy ERP, moving over to a cloud-based modern ERP like Dynamic or Acumatica, and have to make sure all that is accounted for in addition to the complexity from the sales order channels that we talked about earlier. So there are critical capabilities to tackle that complexities, from the technology itself, the foundation in place, to the trading partner expertise, what Kroger versus Costco require, to the design and configuration, how are we bringing all that information, to really who's going to be communicating with them to get that first test order. And when you're sending them test invoice, testing and launching, going live after, a few months setting up and configuring your system, And once you go live, like we mentioned, there are a lot of changes. Those big buying organizations, big retailers, they love to make changes. They always enhancing, tweaking their setup, and everybody else have to follow suit. And then ongoing resource and access. What really others expect you to do, they give you the technology, they give you design, configuration, and maybe some paid resources to help you, but they expect you to do most of the heavy lifting that falls on your plate and your team's plate. So what if we tell you there is a better way of handling all that complexity, all that changes? What we are talking about today is the three pillars really that SPS and Crestwood bring to the table to support your business, to support you, your vendor community, and your customers. The technology and the tools. The over 20 years of being in the EDI world, working with Crestwood, helping variety of customers throughout their growth journey, the people and the expertise, the teams that we have, the synergies we have working together on all these projects, and the process really and the relationships that we've established, not only between both teams, but also with these large buying organizations and these vendors communities. If we take a step deeper here, talking about SPS specifically and how we are positioned in the marketplace, I know this slide have a lot of numbers, but let me break it down for you here. 1 million connection. What we mean by that, if you remember that slide earlier where you have purchase order from different customers, each one of them have a specific map or connection type. So think of these as order acknowledgement, invoice, and ship notice for each buying organization. That's what the 1 million. 4,500 buying organization. I can share with you an example is Costco have outsourced EDI to SPS, and we have 4,500 other organizations that actually from a retailer, distributors to grocers and manufacturer that outsource EDI to SPS. So we not only design their EDI specification, but we actually go out on their behalf and call on their vendors and suppliers to onboard them and meet them where they at with their EDI journey. Those third-party logistic warehouse that you have in place that house your items and ship on your behalf, we've already established over 2,000 of those guys in network that we work with. And regardless of you're selling in a marketplace, e-com, or traditional retailer, we've had these fulfillment model, all these channels. And we've worked with variety of system, and we understand their requirements, their limitation, and how we can make everything work together. And on top of that, we're HIPAA compliance. We meet all the security certification and ISO 27001. So you have the support and the security when you're partnering with SPS. So really what all that means to you, we have created that rule book for those have been around and have tried to do EDI on their own and worked with any of the big retailers. When you sign that business agreement with them and they provide you with, literally back in the day, it was a giant rule book that you are required to go through and design and configure your system to meet that. So we took all these different requirements, fulfillment requirement, all the business process, data and format, and communication methods, and we consolidated all that on the SPS network. And that's where we are providing you, and we capture all that, and we proactively monitor any changes that they make, and we update that once and it rolls out to the 120,000 customers that we have in our network. So if we go back to the complexity where unknown changes, missing data, slow onboarding, missed requirement or late shipment, we can clean all that up and consolidate it into the SPS network with those rule books and bring in a single connection that include business process, order management, data format, communication, timing into your cloud-based ERP with that single connection, allowing you really to focus on your business and leave the heavy lifting and maintaining your compliance with all these different requirements to SPS. So if we take a step into the specifics today that you're probably on Acumatica or you're evaluating Acumatica, we help support and augment the system in terms of adding fields, adding tables, establishing a new business rules that only specific to EDI. And we've partnered with Acumatica since 2017. We have over 50 dedicated experts in-house that work day in, day out on Acumatica project, very, very closely with the Crestwood team that really it positioned us to develop a product natively built on the XRP platform for Acumatica from the ground up. It's fully embedded. You'll manage everything right from within your ERP. We're also part of Acumatica's Always Current program, as Acumatica does 2 major releases every year. We're always certified and compatible. And it's really a very, very similar story with a longer track record since Dynamic's been around for longer than Acumatica. We have over 5,000 shared customers, over 300 in-house expert that work also with the Crestwood team on the dynamic side. And we're also certified. So the same story goes, the network side, SPS consolidate all the rule books, all the specification and requirement from your different trading partners, their way of communication. We bring in a single connection to your ERP, whether it's Dynamic or Acumatica, and we manage and everything on your behalf right from within the ERP, which really the result is a future-proofed ERP system that lay the foundation for you for future growth, any new business relationship that you're establishing with a new buying organization or new customers. It's more of a check in the box when they ask you if you are EDI capable. It's a yes. We're looking at adding marketplace, ecom, TikTok marketplace, you name it. You should be able to onboard those faster and meet all the requirements that comes to mind. With that, I want to just leave you with a couple things that we are seeing in the market today. So a couple of market trends that it might be valuable for you, or you're probably scratching your head if there is a better way of doing it. And this is what we really here to help you with in conjunction with your Crestwood team. So FSMA Q04, that's a mandate. It's a Food Safety Traceability Act that's coming into effect in January. What is really is the identification and tracking of specific food items. I have a picture here on the list. If you deal with any of these, if you are buying, selling, transporting any of these, the mandate is coming and you need to comply with that. And really what the mandate in a very brief, the key data element or the KDE that you need to be able to house in your ERP, be able to communicate that effectively from traceability lot code, expiration date, locations that was originally purchased from, location that it was sent to, any intermediary or logistic companies, trucking companies that handle that. So all the touch points throughout the journey from the source to the end user, all that need to be automated, communicated, and stored. if you are dealing with any of these, or if you have faced questions or you don't know where to start with the mandates coming just around the corner, please let us know. We're happy to help work with your Crestwood account manager, and we'll be able to get together offline after this session, and we can address all that and help you check the box and be compliant with that mandate. Now, the other thing that really, if you are selling to any of these giant retailers, we've been seeing more and more deductions and compliance. And what I mean by that is deduction is really fees or fines that they impose on you, or negative chargeback against what they pay. So it really, they define that based on their discretion. Now, why would they give you a deduction? So if we peel the onion a little bit and look at some of the common examples that they use, overages. If you shipped one item extra than what it was ordered, or you short shipped one item. Trade and contractual deductions, compliances. Sometimes they just do audit in general. Unpaid invoices, pricing. They do promotions or they do discounts, and that does not reflect or doesn't match between the purchase order and the invoice. And returns. So any of these reasons, they could impose deduction or chargeback on you. And believe it or not, we're seeing more and more, and it's a huge, huge revenue stream for those retailers, because the process of fighting that back, they make it very, very complex with a lot of requirement. So if you are selling to Walmart, Target, Amazon, Home Depot, Kroger, CVS, Walgreens, Lowe's, or any of those retailers on the screen, please let us know how we can help you fight these in an automated way that require very minimal intervention from your side. And not only fight these, but also be better at the way your business relation between you and them to avoid any of these deductions or chargebacks in the future. With that, we'll see, Nick, if we have any questions through the chat, or if we have any questions coming up from the audience. Happy to address these.
Yeah, I was proactively monitoring the chat conversation as well as the Q&A, and I didn't see anything come through. But I did want to mention that's an excellent point that you make about the deductions and fines imposed by some partners like Walmart and larger organizations that are more structured and automated, and they have those in place. But fear not, we have solutions to help not only fight those, but for us to prevent them in the future. So let's see. Yeah, no more questions. So I believe that was everything that we had in the agenda, including the Q&A session.
Excellent. With that, I really want to thank everybody for their time today. Thank you, the Crestwood team, for the amazing job and your partnership putting this together. I know there's a lot that goes behind the scene to make these webinars successful. We're always available. If something after we hang up, question comes up, please work with your Crestwood account manager. We're happy to get on one-on-one session to go more in depth in any of the things that we covered or may not cover today.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Mo. Thank you again so much. I trust that you and everybody else who has had the opportunity to attend a great rest of your afternoon. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.